Everybody, welcome back. It's Business, and I'm doing a review of the Warspite, the Tier 6 British battleship. And it's a premium, of course, so you have to shell out about $30-$40 for this. Actually, I kind of forgot the price. I think it's about $35-$40 actually. But this first model that I'm showing you is by Tans. This one, which is my preference, is by Warven. And I'll provide links to both in the description, of course, but I want to give you a heads up. Install this one first, or make backups of a bunch of the miscellaneous files that are replaced when you install Tans's, because all the stuff on the deck is going to be a seafoam green. If you install that first without backing things up, it just a weird clash. But the armor on the Warspite on paper looks excellent. In practice, I don't think so. The saving grace this has for its durability is the heal, and the fact that it can heal a lot of the citadel damage. And you'll see that a lot. Like it stays in fights it should really not be in, at a certain point. These cannons are 15-inch guns, and they have excellent penetration. I have a harder time getting citadels and whatnot against the equal tier battleships, but as far as the penetration damage, which again, I always prefer penetration damage because it's consistent. It's the type of the hits that you'll get more often. If I'm pulling out more damage from my average hits, then I don't need citadels to do the damage. That always helps, of course, as far as turning ships away and changing the flow of a battle. Citadels are that alert, like you've done something wrong, you gotta turn back and lick your wounds. The main problem that the turrets have is the traverse, and you'll see that a bit in a moment, but it does have a decent complement of secondaries. I've been actually really surprised at the damage that they pull out, but even at the time of this review, I don't have advanced firing training, so those secondaries would be pushed up to 6 kilometers, and the AA guns, it is on the weak side a bit. I would say that only because chances are you're going to get up tiered pretty often, and when you're talking about tier 7, tier 8 carrier planes, it's going to be a tough fight for this. I mean, I gotta say though, these are the coolest damn AA guns that are in the game. Look at that. That is just awesome. I just wish they did more damage. But as far as the maneuverability, the rudder shift, and the turning radius on this is amazing. That is the most important part of the ship, without a doubt. And I would say that as far as if you get in the up-tiered matches, you're not going to rely on your AA defense. You're going to rely on that turning radius, and that is an incredible advantage, and what makes this really special in my opinion. I go with the accuracy mod. I'm always about that. I would say when the carriers get buffed again, potentially look into the increased AA range. Don't do anything as far as the main battery mod 2. No, just don't. As far as the other modules are concerned, standard fare, go with the rudder shift and also the damage control for the third slot, because you're really not going to get your engines knocked out very often, except for very specific situations, of course, but most battleships don't. As I said, I don't have advanced firing training, so I'm really looking forward to getting that. I always go with the 2-point turret speed because it's just, you're going to have a hard time. Basically, let me put it to you this way. This is the battleship version of the Miyoko, where the ship turns so much faster than the turrets that you actually have to kind of do this weird wiggle throughout the whole match, and it makes it very obvious when you're going to fire, because if they catch you off guard and you've got to turn, they know it's coming a mile away. But these cannons, though, I really have been enjoying them. They do fantastic against cruisers, and penetration damage is definitely very common with, when you're facing New Yorks or New Mexico's, Fusos. They do a great job. and they're relatively accurate. I am sitting at 35% total accuracy in 23 games now. You know, I'm pretty happy with that. It's definitely above average for my battleships by just a couple percent, but it feels like they're solid. They're usually right on point. You definitely have those weird straddles and stuff, or you know, at ranges you probably shouldn't have straddles, but you know, that's more often than not you're going to be able to hit with hopefully one shell, of course, but a little bit more than that. And I mean, that's a decent angle. I mean, I kind of swing my ass around to get the shots off and you know, flatten that angle a little bit, but you know, 10,000 damage on the side of another Warspite, it's pretty damn solid in my opinion. And you know, even though it's not only about citadels, and I have plenty of clips here showing the capability of these cannons to be able to penetrate the armor of equal tier ships. I honestly didn't get into much of a brawl against like Nagatos or like any Tirpitz, like a North Carolina or anything. I don't have any footage of that, not yet at least. But 6 hits, 12,200 damage. That's pretty damn solid. Now, the one big limitation that the ship has as far as the cannons are concerned is the range. And obviously you can't have it all, even with premium ships, of course. It's, I don't know, I didn't really feel like I was hamstrung by it at any point. And you know, I liberally use my spotter plane, and I can aim pretty well with it. I don't think that's too terrible an inconvenience. At 16.3 kilometers, it's not that bad. You're like, for the equal tier ships, I mean, yeah, you're outranged by a upgraded Fuso, but then again, most ships are. I mean, it's, you know, got a pretty damn solid range. The New Mexico, you're right on par with that, and obviously any of the lower tiered battleships as well. I don't think it's that big a deal, and people freak out about the range all the time, and it's pretty clear that for the most part those are going to be the players that that want to hang back and try to influence the match from the longest range they possibly can. And I think I did a pretty good job leading that target there. But I really like how this ship interacts with destroyers on your team, and it seems like it's very well suited to have that 1-2 combo of destroyer torps and the penetration power of these cannons. In this instance, I just wanted to point out that I'm not shooting at that Nagato. I have a potentially good shot at him, but I want the torpedoes that Kami just fired to hopefully find their mark. So I'm choosing a different target, and because obviously if I fire at the Nagato, he is shooting at a couple of ships that are in B. He may have done that turn earlier, or he may have turned a different way, or he may have come to a stop. He may have not reacted, but chances are he would have done something differently there, and he wouldn't have been sitting on 29,000 health down from 66,000. So that's, you know, I try to exercise patience where I can. It doesn't always work, obviously, and I don't always have that patience, especially in terms of my movement. I'm a little bit more controlled with my gunfire than I am my my forward movement. I've definitely found myself way ahead of enemy or my teammates and things like that, unfortunately. But here we have another situation, kind of the same thing. I'm not shooting at the Colorado. He has the first set of torps miss him, but gets nailed by the second set. He most certainly came to a stop and started reversing there, but he just went from full health to nothing in a matter of moments. So that's, I don't know, there's something special about that when you get good destroyer play and good battleship play together. It's really impressive what can actually be done. And despite what that may look like, that actually took about 6 salvos to finally kill that damn Cleveland. And I didn't hit him once up until that last shot actually hit him. This Omaha as well is another good example of why editing is fantastic. So, you know, you obviously watching the videos, you're seeing the cherry pick stuff. A lot of times, you know, of course, you're not going to get citadels as often as these videos may imply, and I'm really lucky that salvo didn't do a hell of a lot more damage. But you know, this ship suffers just like any other battleship as far as the dispersion is concerned. Some of it is leading, some of it is dispersion. It's just a combination of those factors, but considering that I'm 5.5 minutes into this match and I've done almost nothing up until that point, you know, it's just hopefully a little reality check. You really shouldn't be expecting to do Citadel after Citadel, despite what these upcoming moments here in this clip may show you, but you know, there's just an element of I don't want to say insincerity, because you know it's something along those lines though, where you're obviously not seeing the actual gameplay. That's why I try to actually have extended clips so you can see how something develops and how there's skill in the movement and, you know, hopefully the aim. And with the live streaming, I can't hide that. So it's actually kind of interesting. I feel like I have to apologize after almost every damn shot. So, well, at least what it misses, of course. But then you get something like that, and that feels pretty good. I don't seem to really Citadel Fusos very much in the ship, and obviously same with the New Mexico. Those are protected by the same turtleback style armor that the Tirpitz has, for instance, so that's why they're really hard to Citadel and why you almost never do it. But like these short, fat, stubby little ships, they look cute, but they take a shitload of HE damage. At least it seems that way compared to some of the longer ships. You know, you just wipe out so many more modules with the single pass of HE shells. At least that's, you know, what I gather, what I seem to notice. But I let these torps find their mark, and I was waiting to see what would happen here in case the Warspite didn't get hit by those torpedoes. And he turned. I'd had my guns at the ready, so I didn't want those torps to go to waste for Kami, and it's actually the same scenario here with this Fuso. I'm just gonna send another shot his way to try to keep his attention on me. I'm angled against the New York, and I'm gonna turn my ship a little bit more so I can hopefully deflect both salvos from both ships here, in the event that, you know, Kami's torps here don't hit. And again, I'm confident in the ability of the armor at this angle to be able to do its job. You know, if anything really bad happens, then I still have a heal coming up here in a second. So, you know, the armor is doing its job. I'm angled, not as well as I would like to be at this moment, but the whole point was waiting to see if those torps would find their mark. If they did, and that happened, then that's great. If they didn't, I was prepared as he turned to be able to nuke him right in the side. And that's why I really like playing with destroyers who are focusing on the same target I am. There's really something awesome about that. But I've got to put a Karlsruhe out of his misery because of the fact that it's the Karlsruhe, and there's just something about killing these that it's such a shitty experience to play the Karlsruhe. I might as well save somebody from it and get them out of the match so they could play something more fun. But yeah, this is a hell of a ship, and this whole scenario here, this is one of the better moments that I can explain the advantages of the Warspite. So there is definitely a destroyer in the cap, and we were just about to lose it. So I'm charging in. I've got a Colorado just behind me. That Pensacola got nuked, and there are 3 torp-capable ships in the cap. I am confident at this point in pushing in for a couple of reasons. One, that Pensacola prevented them from being able to fire torps over here because obviously team damage would be terrible, and a team kill would be even worse. But the turning radius of this ship is just astonishing. If I were in the Fuso, well, maybe a New Mexico may have been able to get away with this, but a Fuso definitely wouldn't have been able to. And I'm pressing against the York, Murmansk, and the Destroyer, which I can't see right now. But I know that there's going to be a lot of torps coming in at some point. You know, and that's what I really like about the ship. Honestly, this is one of the most fun ships I've played in the game, and I did not expect that at all. So for me, the Warspite is absolutely worth it. I mean, this is a fucking awesome ship to play. I really like it. And you know, I think there's obviously there's drawbacks, but you know, I can work with those. And I mean, obviously I just nuked that York. You can definitely earn a lot. Like in this these result screens, the earnings that you see are without the credits flag, mainly because I forgot it. But it's just premium time and a really good match in the Warspite, and that's all. But I will definitely be playing a lot more of this. If you check out the live stream at 3 p.m. Eastern this Saturday, I'll definitely be playing this and maybe some viewer requests as well. But thank you for joining, guys, and I'll see you back here soon, all right? Take care.